after 6 long years of whining, complaining, playing the victim, making loads of money, and lying to her ignorant fan base, Taylor Swift finally owns the masters of her original albums again. She bought them back from Shamrock Capital, the previous owner. For context, back in 2018, Big Machine Records, her first record label, sold her masters to Ithaca Holdings, owned by Scooter Braun. And then in 2019, Scooter Braun's holding company sold it to Shamrock Capital. And now they have sold it finally back to Taylor Swift for an undisclosed 9-figure sum.
I think it's said below that Shamrock Capital acquired it for at least $300 million. So you can infer that, look, they don't get in this business to break even, and buying it and selling it for $300 million would lose them money with sales costs and inflation.
Yeah.
So my guess is she paid north of $300 million by quite a bit to get her hands on this, if I had to guess.
Variety says the final price tag came at what she considered a reasonable price. In one of the more dramatic business developments in pop music history, Taylor Swift has purchased her catalog of recordings that were initially released through Big Machine Records after 6 years of transfers and turmoil. She acquired those 6 albums and associated visuals from their most recent owner, Shamrock Capital, for an undisclosed 9-figure sum.
Has anybody checked Seamus? Is he driving a new car?
Is Seamus in charge of Shamrock Capital?
Like, what would Seamus's version be of, like, if I won the lottery, you wouldn't be able to tell, but there would be signs?
This is another thing that frustrates me about the way Taylor Swift has characterized this to her fan base who don't understand the business side of this industry. She's very rarely disclosed the fact that her father owned a 3% stake in her record label when she first released music as a teenager, because he comes from a background in finance. He's
3%
a stockbroker.
is a lot. Yeah.
He's a stockbroker. So he bought a 3% stake in her record label as soon as she started for I believe $120,000 at the time. So I'm sure he made money off of the sale of her music that she claims was stolen from her.
He's like, cha-ching.
Which is bullshit. But this is interesting because it's disputed whether Scooter Braun had anything to do with the recent sale.
This seems to say that it does not believe he did.
Well, back in I think it was May 22nd, it was reported that Scooter Braun encouraged Shamrock Capital to sell her music back to Taylor for $600 million to $1 billion. And this says that's completely false. There was no outside party who encouraged the sale. All rightful credit for this opportunity should go to the partners at Shamrock Capital and Taylor Swift's management only. Taylor now owns all her music, and this moment happened in spite of Scooter Braun, not because of him.
Okay,
the rumored price range also was reported as highly inaccurate, and while no price tag will be publicly forthcoming, insiders say the seller was interested in making a good faith deal, and the ultimate price was far closer to the $300 million that Shamrock was reported to have paid in the first place. So not... They're saying that the $600 million to $1 billion price was totally inaccurate.
Billion, I don't buy. $600 million? I mean, again, like I said, good faith deal or not, is the idea here supposed to be that he was supposed to pay all that money, pay the fees that kind of are incurred by making large purchases like that, and then not make anything on it? Maybe not $1 billion, but $400 million, $450 million, $500 million. I could believe that 100%.
Well, it's either that Scooter Braun was encouraging the deal and Taylor Swift's team just wants to make him look bad and lie about it, or Scooter Braun had nothing to do with it and he planted a story that he was encouraging the sale to make himself look better.
And you surmise that you think that he's kind of become this overblown villain in the industry, where and it's funny too, because he's this very unassuming, doughy looking individual, if I do say so myself. Like, he's not what you think of when you think of like the evil music executive who's kind of got the,
especially because he's young,
he's got the hard lines from drinking and doing lots of cocaine for years. This guy looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy in a lot of ways.
I just don't buy the narrative that Scooter Braun is this calculating, music industry villain who is pulling all the strings and trying to victimize people that he represents. I think that's bullshit.
I do believe that he pulls plenty of strings. I do
not that
believe
he's,
that he
like-
makes lots of money, but I think that for somebody of his stature to make it as far as
Yeah.
he has, that the idea would be that maybe some people get screwed over in the mix. Who are the other artists besides Justin Bieber? There was others before. There was Ariana Grande.
He represented a ton of people. They dropped him, and that was, I think, either last year or 2023 that all happened. It was in quick succession that like all these clients were dropping him.
But
and then
he was moving away
his-
from that side of the business.
his explanation, at least, was that he was letting his contracts with his clients expire so that he could move on to focusing on
He also
Hybe.
he produces movies and stuff now. He's a very, very big dude in Hollywood.
It was very dramatized at the time. And Taylor Swift is great at drama. She posted a photo shoot with all of her old albums, celebrating this as a success story. And then she put on her website a long letter to her fans thanking them for all of their support through this process. She said, "Hi, I'm trying to gather my thoughts into something coherent, but right now my mind is just a slideshow, a flashback sequence of all the times I daydreamed about, wished for, and pined away for a chance to get to tell you this news. All the times I was this close, reaching out for it, only for it to fall through. I almost stopped thinking it could ever happen after 20 years of having the carrot dangled and then yanked away. But that's all in the past now. I've been bursting into tears of joy at random intervals ever since I found out this is really happening. I really get to say these words. All of the music I've ever made now belongs to me and all my music videos, all the concert films, the album art and photography, the unreleased songs, the memories, the magic, the madness, every single era, my entire life's work." Later in the letter, she says, "All I've ever wanted was the opportunity to work hard enough to be able to one day purchase my music outright with no strings attached, no partnership, with full autonomy. I'll be forever grateful to everyone at Shamrock Capital for being the first people to ever offer this to me. I know. What about Reputation, Taylor's version?" So that was what her fans were pissed about at the AMAs. She didn't announce that she was putting out the re-recorded version of that album, but it's probably because this deal was still in process. And I thought, if she buys her music back and she owns all of it, well, then you really don't have a reason to put out the Taylor's versions anymore, even though you're 4 albums in. Now she's saying it could reemerge in its own time.
She's a marketing and a business genius.
Now, at this point, it was a cash grab in the first place with a pretense of necessity. Now there is not even the pretense of Taylor's version albums not being a cash grab.
It will be about like revisiting the originals and then re-recording it to re-examine her art from the beginning to what it looks like now, and everybody will eat it up. It will make $1 billion.
I haven't even re-recorded a quarter of it. The Reputation album was so specific to that time in my life, and I kept hitting a stopping point when I tried to remake it. All that defiance, that longing to be understood while feeling purposely misunderstood, that desperate hope, that shame-born snarl and mischief. To be perfectly honest,
I took great issue with that before the show. I asked Mary what a shame-born snarl even is. I will say, as a final thought for myself on this, is that she is a fantastic writer in general as far as being descriptive of herself.
Yes.
There's a reason why people connect with her, because she has a way of evoking emotions through her words and her written words.
All of her song lyrics and the stories that she tells through them, and her Tumblr posts and her Instagram captions.
She's very good at it.
She is a genius when it comes to talking and writing about herself. And I concede that is a skill. But they're really gloating about it now. Taylor Swift owning her masters while Justin Bieber had to sell his. They're mad at Justin Bieber for his enduring loyalty to Scooter Braun. And Kanye at his lowest. Kim irrelevant. Scooter Braun going broke. Okay,
that's not true.
you're all children and you don't understand the gravity of the situation.
But
But
she will make
she wins
endless
in the
money.
end.
She wins in the end. She will turn this into 6 versions, Taylor's versions, and then the origin version, and every one of her fans will buy all of them, and she'll make... She's basically an Amazon or eBay reseller, but she's reselling it new. It's kind of amazing.
She keeps her side of the street clean.
With
It's so annoying.
So, you know
the way
what?
that they just make her into this mythological hero, it's just too much.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.